Do you want to see Sydney Sweeney and Glen Powell fall in love and then out of love and in love with each other on camera in a movie in Australia during the winter time with your friends? Then come see this movie, and I guarantee you, you'll laugh and cry and you'll have a great time. It's a gigantic cast. It's 12 huge personalities. So the scenes when they all 12 of them were in the scenes together, it was a little bit of a goat rodeo, but it was fun, and they all had a great time filming it, I think, and they all liked each other a lot. So if you like each other a lot, that helps a lot. But those scenes were when I woke up in the morning and said, "Oh, this is the scene with all 12 of them." It was going to be a challenge, just because there was so much stuff and they're all so good. It's kind of to figure out how to get each person their kind of time to shine. But at the end of the day, it's really fun. And 12 is about enough. I'd say that's about enough. You know what people always say in these things, like, "Oh, I had a great time making the movie." They literally had a great time making the movie. It was summer camp. It was summer in Australia. Everyone came down there not knowing anything, not knowing each other. They all fell in love with each other. They all spent every moment of each time, and the weekends, they all grouped did everything together. And because of that, no one went back to their trailers. No one went back to. They all hung out on set and played around, and there's music playing, and you want that lightness to be there in a movie, and this one did not need to be manufactured. And yeah, I just realized looking at all the behind-the-scenes stuff, they do seem to be jumping around a lot, but they had a good time. Sydney is you'll see in the trailer in the movie is extremely beautiful, and you after about the first 15 minutes of the movie, you just start staring at the blue skies and the ocean and everyone in the having fun in the water, and you kind of forget whatever city you are in the West, whether it's Europe or in America, and really want to look into those flights to Australia. I really enjoyed filming this movie in all around Sydney in Australia, and the most fun I think I've ever had on a movie set was when we filmed all the beach scenes in a place called Palm Beach, which is one of the fanciest and most beautiful places on Earth, actually. And we would shoot all day, and then the crew would all go home, and they allowed our three trailers, myself, Sydney, and Glen's trailer, to stay right on the beach. So we all decided instead of going back home, we would just sleep in the trailers, because you always forget that you can actually sleep in these trailers. They're not just, a place to feel like a big dog. So we every night we filmed, we went for a swim, and then we all hung out on the beach, and it was literally the most stunning. You'd wake up at 5:30 in the morning with the sun coming up over the ocean, and the air was beautiful, and it was so quiet, and it was the most beautiful place I think I've ever woken up for 5 straight days. And it's in the movie, right? So that's the ocean we're looking at, and our trailers are right there in the water, so I'll never forget that. Yes, a lot of the times, especially the landing in a helicopter at the Sydney Opera House. And I remember we kept asking for things, and they kept saying no. And I would ask my line producer, Catherine Bishop, "Is this a no?" And they say, "In Australia, it's like the 11th. The 11th no means it's going to be a yes." And it would get to be, "What about the helicopter? We're on the 7th no, 8th no, but don't worry about it." And sure enough, like the 12th no became a yes, and they allowed us to shoot in the helicopter landing at the Opera House, and having Glen Powell jump out of the helicopter without any stuntman, without any harnesses, and just do it. And it was very safe. But there was that moment when we were filming, and I remember looking at Glen and saying, "I cannot believe they're letting us do this." And Glen goes, I can't either." And then he jumped out of the helicopter. This movie it's almost like, it almost feels like you're a fly on the wall watching these people have fun and fight and laugh and love and fall out of love with each other. But because they like each other so much, all of the whole cast, including Sydney and Glen, this sense of companionship and fun and joy just kind of exudes off the screen, and that's not something I did, that's not something the script did, that's not something the cameras did, that's just who these people are. And it's really fun, especially nowadays, to kind of be a fly on the wall and watch people who are going through some stuff have fun and get out of there on the right side and with a big smile on their face and do it in a funny way, in an edgy way. And this movie is not going to solve any world problems, but it is going to show you that people can have a good time and have and live happily and funnily and enjoy themselves. And when you go see this movie, you can't help but come out feeling a little bit of optimism for the humans.